Alright, so hello everyone. Um, I was gonna donate plasma today and not do a video, but now that it's thunderstorming outside and the water is really high, I decided, you know what? It's probably a good idea if I just stay the fuck home. Um, okay, so this is Knowing What Will Come, Part 10. These, I'm showing you. The link will be in the description, but this is the the first episode on Brian's podcast that I did. There are two others. Um, there is episode 99 and episode um, 116. I will be doing another one with him later on this year. He's studying for the bar exam, so he's not going to be doing any major interviewing until like August or September, I believe. Um, so, um, and that's when I'm gonna, I plan on talking about psyops and leadership, um, what it means to be a leader and the difference between the way how they manipulate and the way how I would like to see that things done, which I think my way is better. It's not easy, but it would produce better leadership, I believe. Um, but this episode, we talked about, oh man, a lot of things. Um, and I believe it went on for an hour, maybe a little over an hour. Man, all of our episodes, we seem to talk a lot, but it's good information. Anyways, I recommend to check his podcast out. If not, check out my episodes if you want to. Um, I'll be doing a little bit on the other episodes a little bit later. Um, but here's a few little snippets of me and talking about what is to come. And the date that this podcast happened was September 29th, 2022. Okay, so let's go ahead. I think I did a good introduction, so let's go ahead. Okay, so I hope you guys can hear this well enough. Um, but if not, I do show, where it happened on the time. But let's go ahead and get on to it. Yeah. Okay.
The illusion that most of us are not getting, that you see, because you have clear views. So, like, what are they? What's your main? It's about QFS, right?
Well, the quantum financial system I know is coming. I'm trying to guess when, and it's going to come once everything, like they have to collapse everything. So this whole collapse that we're going through, that's pre-planned. They're they're doing that on to use
Before
it
we
all.
get into QFS, is
Yeah.
that, would you say, your main focal point? The illusion that most of us are not getting.
Okay, so that one was about the quantum financial system, in which I've documented a lot about the quantum financial system. If you don't believe me, you can go to occ.gov, and you can, in their little search bar, you can type quantum financial system, and the first document that appears should be like an attachment. Um, uh, Man, I can't remember the full numbers, but it has like a 2020 in there. I know that, and I think a number 3. Um, and it'll talk about the collapse of the current system and going into the quantum financial system. And you can also go to quantum.gov and read about the quantum initiative. Okay, so here's the next part, um, where I'm going to be talking about advanced technology and anti-gravity technology, and this battle between what I call the new powers and the old powers.
Scientist, but
It's did you know that the Navy
scientist, scientist, but
it's did you know that the Navy released an anti-gravity patent?
I didn't. But like a guy like Elon Musk, is he in on it or just unaware or doesn't matter? I guess it would just be so interesting for like, and then we'll get off this topic, but I guess the idea is that like some aliens are here and there's a covert thing, and it's just this bizarre situation where it's just a deep state sort of thing.
There is a covert thing, but there is good and there is bad, and that's kind of part of the battle that's kind of going on. That's see a lot of we're not there's a lot of things that are happening that are fixing to, I think, surface that we haven't seen because there's been a lot of fighting in the background about direction, um, who's going to be in power. I call this battle what I call what's happening right now is the old powers are fighting the new powers, or the powers to be here soon. And the old powers are getting desperate because they are losing.
Who are the old powers then?
The old powers would, I would, that would definitely have to go with the bad aliens that won. And then the people who they control down here that have created such chaos because they do want a lot of us dead, like the Georgia Guidestones that said that they want about 500,000,000 people. They just recently destroyed it.
Okay, so there was a battle. When did the bad guys win this battle, approximately?
I'm not.
Okay, yeah, fair enough.
I'm not quite sure.
Yeah, so you're saying that
it's still. Okay, and then here's the next part. So I believe that, Ashton has revealed some of these casualties of wars using the secret technology, like I was trying to explain. Um, and I believe that he will lead to the free energy disclosure. And I do believe that we are going to see free energy in our lifetime. But before that happens, like I said in the previous video, everything has to collapse. I don't know why we have to go through a collapse. I think it's kind of stupid. Why not just bring it out? But those decisions, unfortunately, are not mine to make. But before this gets disclosed, you're going to see gas prices skyrocket and an economic collapse pursue. So I want you to keep that in mind, that should happen before this disclosure happens. The big thing, like before the technology is revealed. Okay? So, okay, so here we go.
It's still going on.
And through what means?
I have technologies probably that we have no idea of because they keep technology secret. I mean, for a long time.
So there's a war going on, a hot war between different species.
Oh yeah, yeah, most definitely.
And how are there not many more casualties, or are we just blind to it?
They're they're it's
You know what I mean?
see those. I don't necessarily like have those answers because I
Fair enough.
necessarily don't have like a source for all that.
So what was the second part of you were saying? So I apologize I interrupted you, but I just wanted to clarify. You were saying, okay, bad guys won recently, and they're controlling a group of humans.
No. I believe that the good guys are winning, and that's why we've seen so much chaos down here because they have to rush their plans. See, their plan wasn't supposed to go this way. It's
Okay, so to clarify something on here, what Brian was talking about was something I was talking about before. But yeah, the bad guys won long ago. But these new powers are good guys that are fighting these bad powers, which are the old powers. And at this moment, we're winning. I know it may not seem like we're winning, but we're winning. And we're gonna break through. Just be patient, that time is coming. Alright, so... Okay, so here's the next part. Like I said, it was September 29, 2022. Now this portion I'm going to be talking about the chaos, the coming war, and economically, the battle to be free or be slaves. We are slaves right now. So, alright.
like
Which is
it's gonna go through a lot of chaos
economically.
economically, uh, wars, and it'll be after all this is done that we kind of get the alien disclosure. But first, we have to set the Earth right, I would say. And that has to do with the battle of whether we're going to be basically slave, like
Which is
it's going to go through a lot of chaos.
economic.
So yeah, we're fixing to go through, well, we are in the midst of that chaos right now. And we'll get like full disclosure after World War III is what I'm assuming. I don't think they're gonna do it during World War III. You might see some new technology before then, and you might see free energy. But we gotta set the Earth right before full disclosure comes. But there should be partial disclosure along the way. That's what I felt like I was reading back in 98. Okay, so this part I'm going to be talking about because there's a lot of confusion between 2020 and 2024 when I was reading it. I was really confused because it talked about how there was election fraud that happened in the 2020 election, and I made an assumption that since it got revealed, the election fraud got revealed, and I know we've seen it, but I think it's supposed to be coming more mainstream here soon. But once I read that, I thought that meant that they automatically reinstated the person who they termed the most hated. And I would have to say I was wrong about that. it's one of the reasons why I'm going back through my poetry and everything like that to refresh my memory, because I left a lot of key things in there. But I did talk about the Trump comeback, the economic crash, and what you should prepare for. Okay, so
There's some weird stuff going on because this was the part where I wasn't quite sure. Like, I wasn't quite sure when I was reading the documents, like who was president and who was not president. Because and I document all these things on my YouTube channel, which they deleted one of my videos, so I can't post it.
Any idea who the author was of these documents?
No. I even asked the guy where he got it, and he told me that he got it at the public library.
Okay, so go on with the story though, please.
And I'm like, man, this all doesn't make sense. But so when it came to this part, he said that they were going to do everything that they could to get this person out of office.
Which one? The most hated?
Trump. Yes.
Okay.
And that after it happened, everything would appear like it was dead. And then all this chaos would start coming. And to me, when I was reading it, because when you read things, sometimes you think things happen before they actually happen. But it was a lot kind of like slow paced than what I thought. I was expecting things done already. And but we're coming up to this crucial moment, and I believe this is the point where we're supposed to get a disclosure of a lot of truth coming. The markets are going to start crashing, and oil prices are going to skyrocket, and there's going to be a lot of food shortages. This is what everybody needs to prepare for. And there's going to be a devaluation of the dollar. And we can already start to see that.
Right.
Especially now with BRICS. BRICS is going to, and a lot of people may not know this, but Saudi Arabia is going to BRICS. And BRICS.
okay. There was that one. Alright, so here in the next one, I talk about war with China and Russia, and the Great Uniter, who will be young, and my confusion around the 2024 elections. Yeah, it gets interesting, doesn't it?
I know that we don't tell the next president. I know that we don't tell the next president.
Say it again.
It's the next president that does that. So it's hard to say.
According to the documents from '98.
Yes. And that's the person who's the Great Uniter. It's not Trump. It's not Biden. From what I gather, from what I remember, the person when we saw the 2020 election over, the party who lost, which at that time would be the Republicans, is supposed to be the party that wins in 2024. And so that Great Uniter should come from their party, but it's going to be a young person.
So, but if it, so the Uniter might come in 2024.
I'm pretty sure.
I mean, obviously you don't know, but the theory,
yes.
the theory we're working with is.
Yeah, it should be 2024. Depending on, see, and this is where I got confused with everything, because the person stated that he didn't know if there were going to be elections in 2024, because that's when he talked about the most hated comeback, and the whole weird thing about that. And this is where I was really, really confused about the whole thing. But I'm seeing it happen in 2024. It could be 2028, 2027.
And so this person's going, the Uniter's going to take us into war?
No, not necessarily. I don't know whether it's they will not want to go to war. They will try to hold off the most that they can, but something happens that it's just not like there's no choice but to. And Europe's
To to who?
to Russia. I mean, Russia controls them. They, you know, I mean, they're
Sorry if a little bit of that kind of cut in and out. Um, the connection wasn't good, I guess, back then. But you can probably hear it better if you do the full episode, and you can always go to these markers that I have. But basically, I was stating that basically Russia's gonna go through Europe. And you know, we're gonna start seeing that. Where the Europeans are just gonna surrender because they won't be able to handle it. But if you hear thunder or anything like that, like I said, it's thunderstorming outside, so yeah. Okay, so let's get going to the next one. Okay, so this one, I talk about how 2024 should be the worst period, and everything should start to get better after 2024, depending on my confusion that I had with reading the documents. Okay, so
and everything.
let's go
Really,
to
that's
Famine.
this is going to be the worst period for us. Like after 2024, after that election, things should get better. Even if, let's just per se say Trump comes back. I don't know if he is or not. But that's, I have something on there about 2 different planets. And he's not going to be able to save the economy unless he switches to QFS. The only way that the United States is saved at this point is going back to a gold standard. And if they're not ready to implement that,
I don't know anything about economics, but does that mean we would not be able to pay all of our debts? Or like,
well,
what would
that's,
you know, it's just you wonder what the impact would be in the world.
well, let me ask you this. Okay, in the fiat system, the only way that debt or that money is created is from debt. So what's the relationship with debt and money? It's the same. Money and debt are basically the same thing in a fiat system. Because the only way for the Fed to create money is to go into debt in the first place. And then, well, not the Fed. Fed is a bank that's privately owned. The United States goes into debt. And then when they get that money, and the main reason why is when the Fed automatically prints that money, interest is charged from. It's created out of thin air, and then interest is charged, and then they do something called fractional banking, which devalues the dollar more, and then when we create loans, we also create. So we're creating money, and we're also used as a platform for that. So we're kind of like, that's why you have a social security number, and that's why you have a birth certificate, is because that's like proof of basically the United States owns you.
Okay. And then the next one I'm going to show you is the last one. And this one's not that bad. Alright, so I've come up, through doing all this, I came up with 4.5 check marks through this episode. And adding that to the 3.5 check marks that I had, which makes a total of 8 check marks. So, basically in the video, you know, you've seen some things haven't completely occurred, but we're in the midst of it. And the ones that I talked about that we're in the midst of, those are like, just a 0.5 check mark. But you can see it working through. And I encourage you to go listen to that episode. There's a lot more that I say on there. I do believe at that time I was believing in Asara Jasara. Um, there was some issues that I had with it that I'd later on figure out and I'd talk about it more because I think you have to believe in the idea and kind of understand what it's about before you can say, "Oh no, I don't believe in that anymore." You gotta entertain it, and there was a lot of issues I had with it. Bill Clinton signing it in gunpoint, issue one. The Nassar. What I was talking about was Bill Clinton signing the Nassar Jassara documents at gunpoint. That's an issue one that I had, and I also had an issue with Russia and China being good guys because from the documents I read, they ain't the good guys. I'm not saying that the United States is a good guy. Um, so I just want to put that out there too. Um, but overall, um, those are some things. Now, I will say that this episode does jump away into the future from where we are with my poetry. The poetry that I'm going over was from 2018, and we're fixing to be stepping into 2019. Um, so, um, yeah, that one. So there's about a good 4 years difference between when I first started on YouTube and here, and we're gonna be going back through some of that poetry, but I wanted to throw one of these in, um, to kind of show, and I haven't even gotten to like my future prediction videos yet, and the future 2020 through 2030, and a lot of other ones. There was actually some that I hid in some videos because YouTube started like deleting videos and uh, uh, just not making sure that I didn't get any views. And so I would make an episode, and a real long one at that, and you'll have to look at the transcripts. But there's at certain points where I'll be talking about what the title of the video is, and then I'll just like pause and start talking about the documents that I read in 98. And I'm going through and I'm finding all that information for everybody, but if you want to look, you can. But if not, I'll find it. But I wanted to I hope you like this. I hope the people who are um I hope you like this, and because it was a good, interesting podcast, and we had fun. We always have fun on his show, so go check him out. He's cool, and he's very neutral, and he covers a lot of things on the political spectrum and aliens and lots of stuff. Good podcast. So other than that, peace out. Um, Tomorrow I'm probably gonna donate. So my bricks video is probably gonna come out on Wednesday. But um, that's if it's clear to drive. And that, peace out. You all have a good one, and I'm out. And this has been a 1998 production.